Welcome to the Ramayan, Stories of Dharma and Devotion. I'm your host, Sandeep. Together, in this series, we will embark on an extraordinary journey through the Ramayan, composed by Sage Valmiki. This is not just an epic, it is a treasure trove of dharma, devotion, sacrifice, and love. Our narrative isn't limited to Valmiki's original composition. It also draws inspiration from other Indian traditions and folklore. Our aim is to offer you an experience of this timeless tale that not only touches your emotions, but also provides insights into every aspect of life. The Ramayan, as composed by Valmiki, is divided into 7 kandas or volumes, encompassing 24,000 verses and 500 chapters. In this series, we begin our journey with the first kanda, Bal Kanda. Today's episode introduces us to King Dashrath and his longing for children.
In ancient times, Ayodhya, situated on the banks of the Saryu River, was a city unlike any other. It was the proud seat of the illustrious Ikshvaku dynasty, also known as the Suryavansh solar dynasty. This dynasty was built on the principles of dharma, truth, and justice. The rulers of this lineage were believed to be descendants of the sun god, and under their reign, righteousness always prevailed. King Dashrath was one of the most devoted and righteous rulers of the Ikshvaku dynasty. His subjects revered him as a divine figure. He tirelessly worked for the welfare of his kingdom and never strayed from the path of dharma. The palace courtyard in Ayodhya always carried an air of celebration. The melodious tones of music echoed throughout, while the soft glow of lights illuminated every corner, creating a magical atmosphere. The air was filled with joy, a reflection not just of Ayodhya's material prosperity, but of the deep contentment and happiness of its people under King Dashrath's reign. It was a realm where harmony, abundance, and peace thrived together, embodying the ideals of a truly prosperous kingdom. King Dashrath's governance was rooted in dharma and justice. Yet, what made it stronger was the unwavering dedication of his mantris or ministers, who tirelessly supported him in his vision for Ayodhya. Among them, there were those who contributed their wisdom and skill to every aspect of the kingdom. Drishti, known for his farsightedness, guided the kingdom with strategic brilliance, while Jayant ensured that Ayodhya's victories were secured on every battlefield. Vijay strengthened the governance, ensuring stability and order across the kingdom, and Siddharth, with his wisdom, made decisions that always enhanced the prosperity of the land. There was Atyarth Sadhak, who remained devoted to the kingdom's growth, and Ashok, whose efforts brought peace and happiness to the lives of the people. Mantrapal ensured that the royal counsel and decisions were executed seamlessly, while Sumant, King Dashrath's closest and most trusted advisor, stood by him in every critical moment. Together, these mantris or ministers, through their dedication and King Dashrath's exemplary leadership, turned Ayodhya into a Swarnagri, a golden city admired by all. In Ayodhya, every individual, from the humble farmer tending to his fields to the merchants conducting their trade and the scholars spreading knowledge, fulfilled their duties with sincerity. This unity, built on the foundation of dharma, made Ayodhya a place where material abundance and spiritual harmony coexisted. It was a kingdom where not just the streets, but the hearts of the people shone brightly. However, the foundation of King Dashrath's rule was not merely political or material prosperity. At its heart lay its deeply rooted spiritual strength. This strength came from his royal priests, also known as Rajgurus, Sage Vashisth and Sage Vamdev. These 2 great sages were the guiding lights of his kingdom, offering him wisdom that balanced both the spiritual and temporal needs of the kingdom. Sage Vashisth, the embodiment of austerity, knowledge, and dharma, constantly reminded King Dashrath of his ultimate duty, that the power of the throne must always be used for the welfare of the people. Sage Vamdev, with his deep meditation and ascetic practices, ensured the spiritual balance of the kingdom. Their wisdom extended far beyond religious rituals. They served as guides for King Dashrath, helping him navigate the most complex challenges of governance with clarity and fairness. King Dashrath, revered by his people, considered the continuation of the Ikshvaku lineage his greatest responsibility. He was blessed with 3 queens, Maharani Kaushalya, Maharani Sumitra, and Maharani Kaikeyi. Each queen, with her unique qualities and deep devotion, played a pivotal role in his life and the life of the kingdom. King Dashrath shared a unique bond with each of them, and their stories of sacrifices and virtue are tales that will unfold in the episodes to come. However, despite having 3 queens, King Dashrath felt a deep void in his life. He was childless. This absence was a hidden sorrow in his heart. Often, he would stand alone in the palace courtyard at night, gazing at the stars, and silently wonder, will my lineage end with me? I have always followed the path of dharma. Yet why has the divine not blessed me with children? One such night, the moonlight bathed the courtyard in its gentle radiance. Lost in thought, Dashrath stood with his eyes fixed on the sky. At that moment, Maharani Kaushalya approached him quietly and said, King Dashrath, why are you not resting in your chamber tonight? I have noticed for days now that you seem deeply troubled. Is there something worrying you? Dashrath took a deep breath and replied, Kaushalya, this is not a new concern. It is the same sorrow that has been with me for years. I am childless. When I think about the Ikshvaku lineage having no heir, my heart becomes restless. I have always upheld dharma, yet the divine has withheld this blessing from me. As they spoke, Maharani Sumitra entered the courtyard. Seeing Dashrath, she spoke with empathy. Oh dear, though your sorrow may not show on your face, I can sense how deeply it resides within your heart. Dashrath looked at her and said, Sumitra, the greatest duty of a king is to ensure the continuation of his lineage. I have lived my life in accordance with dharma and justice. Yet, why do I have to bear this void in my life? At that moment, Maharani Kaikeyi also arrived. Concerned, she asked, Dear king, why do you speak with such a heavy heart? Shouldn't we explore a solution? Dashrath responded, Kaikeyi, this thought consumes me every night. I have decided to seek guidance from Sage Vashisth. With his wisdom and counsel, we may find a way forward. But this pain troubles my heart constantly. Kaushalya gently consoled the king, saying, Dear king, your people adore you. You have always been steadfast on the path of dharma. I am certain that the divine will answer your prayers. Sumitra added with hope, Sage Vashisth has a solution for every challenge. His wisdom and dedication will surely guide us in the right direction. With the encouragement of his queens and the resolve to seek Sage Vashisth's guidance, Dashrath began contemplating a path to fulfill his deepest longing, to continue the legacy of the Ikshvaku dynasty. Kaikeyi, offering inspiration, said, Dear king, you are the pride of the Ikshvaku dynasty. Your faith and efforts must remain unwavering. If you persist, no obstacle can stand in your way. We 3 are with you, always. King Dashrath listened attentively to the words of his 3 queens. Their support brought him a sense of solace. Moved by their encouragement, he said, You 3 are my strength. Without you, I could never have managed this kingdom successfully. Now, with your support and Sage Vashisth's guidance, I am certain we will find a solution to this problem. The darkness of the night slowly began to recede. The first rays of the sun spread their golden glow across the earth, while the cool morning breeze gently carried the glistening dew over the greenery. This new day was not just a beginning for nature, but also marked a fresh start in the life of King Dashrath. His face now reflected determination instead of worry. He understood that the time had come to seek a resolution for his sorrow. Dashrath resolved within himself that he could no longer delay addressing this matter. He decided to consult his guru, Sage Vashisth, without any further hesitation. Deep within, he believed that those who walk the path of dharma and truth are never forsaken by the divine. The following morning, Dashrath invited Sage Vashisth to his palace. When the great sage arrived, Dashrath respectfully bowed at his feet. His voice, heavy with emotion, expressed his anguish, or revered sage, I have followed the path of dharma throughout my life. I have ruled justly and never neglected the welfare of my people. Yet, the divine has not blessed me with a child. My greatest concern is how I will carry forward the Ikshvaku lineage. Will I leave this world without an heir? Please guide me, for this sorrow has become unbearable. Sage Vashisth listened to Dashrath with great patience and empathy. A serene yet wise smile graced his face. Lifting his gaze, the sage spoke in a firm yet reassuring tone, O king, the prayers of those who tread the path of dharma are never in vain. The divine always helps those who express their desires with devotion and sincerity. There is a solution for your sorrow. You must perform the Ashwamedh Yagn. This sacred ritual will not only strengthen your rule, but also please the gods, leading them to grant you the blessings you seek. The words of Sage Vashisth ignited a spark of hope within Dashrath's heart. A newfound sense of enthusiasm began to rise within him. With eagerness, Dashrath asked, O revered sage, will this Yagn truly answer my prayers? Will the gods hear my plea and bless me with children? Vashisth replied in a calm voice, O king, the prayers of one who walks the path of dharma and truth are always heard by the divine. However, the Yagn must be performed with utmost devotion and in strict adherence to its rituals. Through this Yagn, your desires will be fulfilled. Dashrath's eyes sparkled once again with renewed energy and faith. He immediately ordered preparations for the Ashwamedh Yagn in the palace. The preparations filled Ayodhya with a wave of spiritual energy. The palace courtyard and the Yagn site were adorned with fresh garlands of flowers and glowing lamps. It felt as though divinity itself had descended upon the earth. The fragrance of aromatic herbs and sandalwood permeated the air, making the atmosphere sacred and serene. Every element of this Yagn was a representation of dharma and purity. The most significant part of the Yagn was the selection of a pure white horse, symbolizing strength, purity, and freedom. This horse, decorated with golden ornaments and colorful adornments, represented King Dashrath's sovereignty and power. The horse was set free to roam across the kingdom, announcing the king's authority wherever it went. According to the tradition of the Ashwamedh Yagn, anyone who stopped the horse would challenge the king's authority. However, the people of Ayodhya and the surrounding regions held King Dashrath in such high regard that the horse roamed freely across the kingdom and returned without any obstruction. This was not merely a validation of his authority, but also a sign that the divine was pleased with his devotion and dharmic conduct. With the return of the horse, the concluding rituals of the Yagn began. The sacred fire was lit, and its flames seemed to reach the heavens, symbolizing the prayers of the king and his people ascending to the gods. Brahmins, dressed in white garments and representing dharma and penance, chanted mantras that echoed across the Yagn site. The aroma of sandalwood, clarified butter, and sacred herbs filled the air, adding to the divine atmosphere. It felt as if the gods themselves were present, witnessing the sanctity of the Yagn. As the Yagn concluded, Sage Vashisth approached King Dashrath and said, O king, the gods are pleased with your Yagn. However, to fulfill your desire for children, another step is necessary. You must now perform the Putra Kameshti Yagn. This Yagn is specifically designed to fulfill the prayer for progeny. Hearing this, Dashrath was slightly surprised, but humbly asked Sage Vashisth, O revered sage, if the gods are pleased with the Ashwamedh Yagn, why is another Yagn required? Have my prayers not yet been fulfilled? Sage Vashisth, smiling gently, replied in a calm voice, O king, the Ashwamedh Yagn has indeed pleased the gods and established your dharma and power. However, the blessing of progeny is a unique boon, one that requires the specific performance of the Putra Kameshti Yagn. This sacred ritual will focus the divine energies on your desire and lead to its fulfillment. This Yagn will not only answer your prayers, but also breathe new life into your lineage. Dashrath listened intently to Sage Vashisth's words. Bowing respectfully, he said, "O revered sage, I will forever remain indebted to your guidance. It is through your grace and the blessings of the gods that this moment has come into my life. I will prepare for the Putra Kameshti Yagn with complete devotion and dedication." As King Dashrath sought Sage Vashisth's permission and guidance for the Putra Kameshti Yagn, his reverence for the sage deepened further. Vashisth was not just an ordinary sage. He was one of the Saptarishis, the 7 great sages of this Manvantara, the era of Manu. Vashisth's divinity was evident from his very origin, as he was a Manasputra of Lord Brahma, meaning he was born from the mind of the Creator himself. His life symbolized dharma, penance, and unparalleled wisdom. Sage Vashisth also possessed a divine cow named Kamadhenu. This celestial cow and her offspring, Nandini, held the miraculous ability to fulfill any wish of their master. Kamadhenu was not just a source of material abundance, but also a wellspring of spiritual energy. Because of this divine asset, Vashisth's ashram became a center of spirituality, spreading dharma, knowledge, and penance. King Dashrath and his ancestors utilized this divine power only for righteous purposes, such as performing sacred rituals and ensuring the successful completion of yagns. The life of Sage Vashisth offers a profound example of the conflict between material and spiritual power. King Vishwamitra, a king renowned for his strength, conquests, and ambition, became envious of Vashisth's divine cow, Kamadhenu. Seeing her ability to fulfill any wish, Vishwamitra desired to possess her and attempted to forcibly claim her. Kamadhenu, with her extraordinary divine powers, became the protector of Vashisth's ashram. When Vishwamitra attacked with his vast army, Kamadhenu used her celestial strength to summon warriors and divine forces that defeated Vishwamitra and his entire army. This event underscored the eternal truth that no matter how immense material power may be, it cannot stand against the strength of spiritual energy and dharma. Through such incidents, the greatness of Sage Vashisth and the supremacy of spiritual power over worldly might became evident, reaffirming the foundation of dharma that guided King Dashrath in his quest. This defeat proved to be a turning point in Vishwamitra's life. From this event, he realized that spiritual strength is far more valuable than material power. This profound lesson inspired him to renounce his royal status and walk the path of intense penance and meditation. After years of unwavering penance and dedication, he attained the supreme title of Brahmarshi. The story of Sage Vashisth and King Vishwamitra will be explored in greater detail when we delve deeper into the life of Sage Vishwamitra in later episode. An integral part of Vashisth's greatness was his wife, Arundhati. In Indian culture, Arundhati is regarded as the epitome of an ideal and devoted wife. Her penance, purity, and unwavering dedication were the foundation of stability and strength in Vashisth's life. It is said that during the wedding ritual, newlyweds are shown the Arundhati Tara, the star named after her, symbolizing the ideal marital bond of Vashisth and Arundhati. This tradition not only reflects their love and mutual support, but also teaches the importance of respect and cooperation between husband and wife for a successful and meaningful life. For King Dashrath, Vashisth was not merely a royal priest. He was a guide, an inspiration, and a source of spiritual strength. Dashrath always believed that Vashisth's wisdom and dedication could resolve any challenge in his life. Vashisth's teachings extended beyond rituals and yagns. He instilled in Dashrath the fundamental principle that adherence to dharma and truth is the cornerstone of good governance. When Vashisth suggested performing the Putra Kameshti Yagn, he ensured that every step of the ritual was performed meticulously and with the right intent. His guidance and presence were pivotal in the successful completion of the Yagn. Following Vashisth's advice, Dashrath ordered preparations for this sacred Yagn to commence in the kingdom. The Yagn site was purified again, and a wave of excitement swept through the state. Every citizen of Ayodhya firmly believed that the prayers of their righteous king would undoubtedly be heard. After consulting with Sage Vashisth, King Dashrath resolved to perform the Putra Kameshti Yagn. However, the question arose, who would officiate this sacred ritual? Dashrath sought advice from his ministers and Sage Vashisth. His most trusted minister, Sumanth, suggested inviting Rishyashring, a sage associated with a unique and divine tale. Sumanth narrated Rishyashring's remarkable story to King Dashrath. Sage Vibhandak, a descendant of Sage Kashyap, was the father of Rishyashring. One day, as Vibhandak bathed in a serene lake after his prayers, he saw the celestial Apsara Urvashi near the water. Mesmerized by her divine beauty, Vibhandak's seed was accidentally released. At the same time, a deer drinking water from the lake unknowingly consumed it and became pregnant. From this miraculous event, the deer gave birth to an extraordinary child. The boy had small horns on his head, giving him a distinctive appearance. He was named Rishyashring, meaning the sage with horns. Raised by his father in the secluded forest, Rishyashring's life revolved around nature and penance. He had never encountered any human other than his father, nor had he ever seen a woman. Sage Vibhandak was strict in maintaining Rishyashring's brahmacharya. He imposed a rule that his son must remain isolated from the outside world, especially from women, to ensure his focus on penance and learning. Vibhandak warned his son to be cautious of strangers, particularly unknown visitors. At the same time, the kingdom of Anga was ruled by King Lompad, a friend of King Dashrath. Once, Lompad had deceived a Brahman, leading to the departure of Brahmans from his kingdom. This caused the rains to stop, plunging the land into a severe drought. Desperate for a solution, King Lompad consulted the learned Brahmins who remained. They advised that if a sage who had never seen a woman performed a yagn, the rains would return. Hearing this, Lompad sent messengers across the land, who eventually learned of Rishyashring's existence. Lompad devised a clever plan to bring Rishyashring to Anga. He summoned a group of beautiful young women and asked if they could complete this task. Most deemed it impossible, but one courageous young woman accepted the challenge. She studied Vibhandak's strict rules for his son and crafted her plan accordingly. She decided to approach the ashram only in Vibhandak's absence. One day, when Vibhandak was away on an errand, the young woman seized the opportunity and approached the ashram disguised as a simple ascetic. She set up a temporary hut near the ashram on a boat and introduced herself to Rishyashring as the daughter of a sage living in a nearby ashram. Her gentle voice and warm demeanor captivated Rishyashring, who had never encountered anyone like her. Rishyashring, unaware of the concept of women, was drawn to her charm. After she left, he felt restless and despondent. When Vibhandak returned, he noticed his son's unease and questioned him. Rishyashring innocently explained that a beautiful person had visited, arousing Vibhandak's suspicion. He sternly reiterated his instructions for Rishyashring to avoid strangers, especially suspicious visitors. Despite Vibhandak's warnings, the young woman began visiting Rishyashring frequently. Over time, they grew closer, forming a bond of friendship. On one such visit, she invited Rishyashring to her temporary ashram, which was built on a boat. Completely enchanted by her, Rishyashring agreed to accompany her. Unaware of the young woman's true intentions, Rishyashring took his first steps away from the forest, setting the stage for his eventual role in resolving the drought of Anga. The young woman guided Rishyashring onto the boat, and slowly, the boat began to drift along the river. By the time sage Vibhandak returned to the ashram, Rishyashring had already left. Following her plan, the young woman continued downstream, leading Rishyashring toward the kingdom of Anga. Eventually, they arrived at King Lompad's palace, who had orchestrated this entire endeavor. King Lompad was overjoyed at Rishyashring's arrival. King Lompad respectfully invited Rishyashring to perform a yagn to resolve the kingdom's severe drought. In a humble tone, King Lompad said, "O Rishyashring, we are blessed by your arrival in our kingdom." Hearing of your divinity and penance inspired me to bring you here. Our land faces a grave problem. There has been no rain, and a severe drought has caused immense suffering to the people. I humbly request you to perform a yagn so that the gods may be pleased, and this crisis may end. Rishyashring listened attentively to the king's plea. In a calm and composed manner, he replied, "O king, if my yagn can bring relief to your people and invoke the gods' blessings, I will surely perform it. It is my duty to walk the path of dharma and work for the well-being of the people." King Lompad immediately began preparations for the yagn. The yagn site was sanctified, and learned Brahmins were invited to participate. Rishyashring initiated the yagn with his profound knowledge and deep penance. The sound of Vedic mantras echoed through the air, creating a divine atmosphere that touched everyone present. As the yagn concluded, dark clouds gathered in the sky, and torrential rain began to pour. The joy of the people knew no bounds. King Lompad, overcome with happiness, said, "Rishyashring, your penance and divinity have given our land new life. This rain is not merely water. It symbolizes hope and prosperity for our people. I will forever remain indebted to you." Rishyashring smiled gently and said, "O king, this is all the result of the gods' grace and the observance of dharma. The welfare of the people is our greatest dharma." With the end of the drought, happiness returned to Anga. The people were filled with deep reverence for Rishyashring. His penance and divinity not only rescued the kingdom from its plight, but also set a remarkable example of dharma and devotion. King Lompad expressed his immense gratitude to Rishyashring. To honor the sage respectfully and to show his gratitude, he offered Rishyashring his daughter Shanta's hand in marriage. Shanta, the adopted daughter of King Lompad and originally the daughter of King Dashrath, was well known for her grace and virtue. Recognizing the immense purity and spiritual strength of sage Rishyashring, Shanta agreed to the proposal. Upon Shanta's confirmation, King Lompad sent his messenger to sage Vibhandak, informing him of Rishyashring's remarkable achievement and the proposed marriage with Shanta. Sage Vibhandak, upon hearing of the events, was initially angry at King Lompad's scheming to bring his son to Anga. However, out of a deep desire to see his son, he decided to travel to Anga. Upon his arrival, Vibhandak saw that his son had become a figure of immense respect and honor in the kingdom of Anga. Rishyashring's divinity and penance had not only resolved the kingdom's severe drought, but had also won the hearts of its people. Seeing how his son had brought happiness and prosperity to an entire kingdom, Vibhandak's anger began to fade. He realized that the events, though unexpected, had unfolded for a greater cause. Vibhandak also met the young woman who had brought his son to Anga. Initially, he regarded her actions with disdain. However, recognizing her role in fulfilling this divine plan, he forgave her, understanding that her actions, though unconventional, were ultimately for the welfare of the kingdom and the fulfillment of dharma. With a heart full of pride for his son and a renewed sense of acceptance for the events, Vibhandak blessed the couple and returned to his ashram. This marriage was not merely a personal union, but a significant event for the welfare of Anga and its people. It exemplified how the observance of dharma, combined with devotion and selflessness, can bring prosperity and harmony to society. Rishyashring's contributions to Anga and his union with Shanta were celebrated as a turning point for the kingdom, marking the beginning of a new chapter filled with hope, prosperity, and unity. Hearing this story from Sumant, King Dashrath became convinced that Rishyashring was the ideal person to officiate the Putra Kameshti Yagn. The tales of Rishyashring's divinity and unparalleled penance filled Dashrath with unwavering faith. Moreover, learning that Rishyashring was the husband of his daughter Shanta, Dashrath felt immense joy. Shanta, whom Dashrath had entrusted to King Lompad, remained deeply loved and cherished in his heart. Dashrath thought to himself, "Through this yagn, I will also have the chance to meet my daughter's husband and ensure that Shanta has found a worthy life partner." Dashrath resolved to invite Rishyashring for the yagn and immediately ordered preparations to begin. He sent a trusted messenger to King Lompad with a message. The messenger addressed King Lompad, "O King of Anga, King Dashrath of Ayodhya, your dear friend, humbly requests your assistance in a special matter. He wishes to perform the Putra Kameshti Yagn and seeks the presence of sage Rishyashring to officiate the ritual. Kindly grant permission for Rishyashring to travel to Ayodhya so that King Dashrath's noble wish may be fulfilled." King Lompad graciously accepted the request and spoke to Rishyashring about the matter, urging him to assist. Lompad said, "O sage, King Dashrath of Ayodhya, my dear friend and a ruler steadfast in dharma, seeks your guidance for the Putra Kameshti Yagn. Only your penance and divinity can ensure its success. Please accept his request and perform the Yagn in Ayodhya." Rishyashring, always devoted to dharma and the welfare of others, readily agreed. He replied, "If my Yagn can fulfill King Dashrath's prayers and establish dharma, I shall gladly travel to Ayodhya for this noble cause." Rishyashring was then brought to Ayodhya with great honor. Upon his arrival, the entire city of Ayodhya was filled with joy and celebration. King Dashrath welcomed him with utmost respect and reverence, marking the beginning of a sacred chapter in Ayodhya's destiny.
In the next episode, we will learn King Dashrath's meeting with her erstwhile daughter Shanta, how King Dashrath received the boon of progeny, and how Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughan were born. This story will unveil the divine plan of the gods, the results of King Dashrath's penance, and the greatness and divinity of the four princes. Thank you for listening to this episode of our series. Do share this timeless story of the Ramayan with your friends and family, so that it may touch every heart. Even though we may not fully know how these events transpired, the eternal narrative of the Ramayan teaches us how to live a life rooted in dharma, truth, and duty. It remains a guiding light for every era. Until then, may the light of dharma guide your path.